This video is sponsored by Final. I am quite familiar with Final as a brand, and on this channel I've reviewed several of their products in the past, like this ZE3000 TWS in-ear monitors, which are fantastic by the way. But today we're doing something a little different. These are the Final Tonalite TWS wireless earbuds, but these do something very different. These are the first in the world, supposedly, to create a personalized timbre profile for you and your particular unique anatomy, physical anatomy. Now, unlike other Final products in the past, this one is a Kickstarter project, so it will be released, I think, in December, which is next month. Now, the retail price, I think, will be, the final price will be, no pun intended, the final price will be $329, but of course, being a Kickstarter project, you can get an early bird price of $279, so it's a pretty significant saving there. So let me just go through quickly some of the features, and then we'll talk more about this personalized timbre sound profile. So that is the case. It's look, a little bit taller than your average TWS case, but it is nice and slim, so it's still definitely easy to fit in a pocket. And I'll pull out the earbuds now as well, so you can have a look and see what they look like. So that's them there. Now, oh, by the way, the lid on this case opens fully 180 degrees, so it gives you nice access to the earbuds inside, particularly good for people like myself with large, clumsy fingers. So there are the earbuds. Now, inside of these is a 10mm F-Core dynamic driver. F-Core is Final's proprietary, I think, driver. They've been using them for a while now. These earbuds do have multi-point connectivity, so you can have them connected to two devices at the same time, which is a really handy feature that I like to use myself. They have wireless charging, so you can be completely free of wires when you're charging. They do have ANC, or active noise cancellation, two modes. They have ambient and just normal ANC. The ANC works, but it's not great, and that's probably just because it was thrown in as an extra. Like, the main thing about these, it's all about the sound, and especially the personalized timbre profile, which I'm getting to very shortly. But yeah, they do have ANC. It works, but it's not the best you'll hear, especially for a more expensive TWS earbud like this one. The battery life it's pretty decent actually. You get up to 9 hours battery from the earbuds themselves, and that's just with using the general sound profile. And if you're using the personalized profile, that drops down to 7 hours, which is not great, but it's still quite respectable. In addition to that, these have an IPX4 rating, which means you are safe in a little bit of light rain. You don't have to worry about sweat and things like that. Also, in case you are wondering, these do have excellent call quality, so I'll give you an example of that here. By 6000 BC, Greater Australia is no more. 1/7 of its land, about 2.5 million square kilometres, has been drowned by the sea. Tasmania, once a southern peninsula, is now an island whose Aborigines have lost all contact with those on the mainland. And these do have app support. Well, you actually need to download the Final Tonalite app to get these set up. However, you can use them straight out of the box, and I will say right now, they actually sound really good out of the box, just as is. But once you set up your personal profile, in my experience at least, they sound even better. There is one thing, however, that I need to get off my chest before we go any further, and that is regarding the included ear tips. Now, these ear tips are fantastic. They are actually a blend of silicone and foam, so I haven't seen anything quite like this before. I have seen hybrid models, but not ones that sort of incorporate the materials together like this. But anyway, really good ear tips. However, only 4 pairs are included in the box. And if you're familiar with me and my ears, you probably already know these are not large enough for my ears. And that is a problem because during the setup process, the DTAS process where you do the sound testing, part of that requires a sort of a listening test. And honestly, you just cannot do that if you're not getting a good fit and seal with the ear tips. So I had to resort to using some of my own ear tips, which is fine. They don't have any problem fitting in the case, even with the larger tips, so that wasn't a problem. But honestly, for the amount of work, resources, time that Final have put into producing this technology and these earbuds, seriously, the limited number of ear tips sizes included in the box is just a ridiculous oversight in my opinion. Okay, I'm done with that. Let's move on. So setting up your personal profile is a rather unique experience with these. First of all, you need to use this headband which comes in the box, and you also need to use these stickers which come in the box. And thankfully, you do get a good supply of stickers in case you need them for the future. I think there are 12 in total included in the box. But basically, you stick the stickers on either side of the headband. You put the headband on your head with the stickers over your ears, and then you start using the measurements using the Final Tonalite app and your smartphone's front-facing camera. And the process is pretty straightforward. It does take a while. It took me, I guess, about 20 minutes to set up. But so long as you follow the instructions, it is a no-brainer. It's nice and easy to do. And once you do, the personal profile is applied to the earphones, and then you can easily switch between the default sound and your personalized sound. And I guess I should talk a little bit about timbre because some people might not understand exactly how it works. Basically, timbre is what gives voices and instruments their own distinct character. So for example, you might have a violin and a cello playing the same note, but because of their unique timbres, you can distinctly tell the difference between the violin and the cello. You can tell which one is which. And the same thing applies to voices, like if voices in a chorus singing the same words and the same notes, you can distinctly hear the quality of someone's voice compared to another person singing along. So when it comes to audio experience, and in this particular case earbuds, if the timbre is off, everything is off. It doesn't sound lifelike or realistic. And if the timbre isn't right, it doesn't matter about the overall tonality or the tonal balance, it's just not going to sound right. And that's where this technology comes in. And I forgot to mention, when you are doing those measurements, the Tonalite app actually measures your head from the side, from both sides, that is, from the front, facing up and down. It kind of creates this 3D avatar of your torso, and it also records your ear canals with and without the earbuds in them. So it's definitely an interesting process, and I'm not going to pretend to know how it works. And at first, to be honest, I thought it was just some kind of a gimmick, but it actually works. At least it did for me. So with all that said, now let me describe how these sound to my ears using my own personalized timbre profile. One little quick thing that I need to throw in first, I forgot to mention, these do have in the app a 10-band equalizer as well. So even if you are still not happy with your personalized timbre profile, you can tweak it even more, which is pretty cool. They have a nice, crisp and a vibrant sound. Even straight out of the box in the default profile, they sound like that. But these are not a bass head IEM. I found the bass to be satisfying. Look, those Final F-Core drivers are very good. They are proven to be very good. So you get extremely good end-to-end extension. That means all the way to the lowest lows and the highest highs. These F-Core drivers are capable of reproducing those notes with almost zero distortion. So you do hear those ultra low sub bass notes, but they're just not forward in the mix. They're not emphasized that much. The mid bass, however, it is quite punchy, but of course you do need to get a good seal with your ear tips to get the proper bass response. And that is why I'm still a little bit upset that Final only included 4 pairs of ear tips in the box. So not bass head, but should be satisfying enough for most people. I didn't find the bass lacking in any way when it comes to quantity or the bass level. It is, however, well textured. It does have nice definition, nice clean leading edges on those bass notes, and pretty good bass texture as well. It doesn't bleed into the mid-range, so it leaves the rest of the sound spectrum nice and open, which gives you a wider sense of soundstage and overall clarity. Now, speaking of clarity, the mid-range has excellent clarity and articulation. With my personal sound profile, I found that the upper mids and the treble were boosted slightly above the out of the box sound, and I don't mind that at all. I find the mid-range on these very engaging. Vocals really pop. They have excellent articulation, really good detail in the mid-range, nice spacing and instrument separation, so there's no congestion. Everything sounds sort of, you know, when you have a lot of different elements playing in the song or in the track, you can distinctly hear each one. They're not all blended or muddled together. They're not congested. And that, of course, gives you a more high fidelity sound with better overall resolution. And then when it comes to the treble I found to be smooth. It's not harsh or sibilant in any way, but what really surprised me is the level of detail retrieval that these have. So even micro details clearly come through, those tiny little sounds that you don't hear on warmer or bassier sets. And to be honest, even some neutral tuned sets don't have this level of detail retrieval. So if you get a kick like I do out of hearing these tiny little sounds, then you're in for a treat with these because they pick them up really well. So in terms of soundstage, yeah, these are good. They have a nice expansive space. It is quite wide and deep as well, so you get excellent 3D spatiality. The imaging, the perceived position of elements within the soundstage is really clear. But overall, I was really impressed with what Vinyl was able to do with these, and for a change, the personalized sound profile to my ears sounded distinctly better than the out-of-the-box sound. So anyway, guys, that is the Vinyl Tonalite, and I am very impressed with these. If you want to learn more, or if you want to just jump on board, head over to the Kickstarter page. There is a link down in the description below. And if you get in nice and early, you can get that super early bird price of $279. With that said, it's time to wrap it up. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Par Family Audiophile style. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button before you go. And until next time, I'll see you later.